Happy Halloween! Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with our final video of the Halloween special, premiering tonight on Halloween night, The Monster. So yeah, this is our final one, and I decided to save this for the end specifically because it's, I guess a monster movie. I don't know what this movie is about or anything, like most movies on this list, if not all of them. Um, all I know is that it involves a monster, and I've seen the poster, or at least one of the posters. So I think it kind of shows the like silhouette of the monster's design, I guess. So I've kind of seen, I guess, the shape of it. And I think it's like the poster's like black, and then there's like the silhouette like shape of the monster, and then the like you see the characters inside the shape. I think that's how the poster design is. It's really interesting, actually. Um, but yeah, it's got a from what I remember. I haven't looked at the poster since I made the announcement video. And I mean, I guess, mind you, that means I've seen the posters for all of the reactions I'm doing today, or for this Halloween special. But still, um, yeah, I haven't seen it since. But yeah, I do remember what it looks like. Unlike the others, where I don't remember what the posters looked like at all. That's kind of more of what I'm getting at, I guess. I remember the poster for this one. Um, but yeah, I'm very curious to see what this is about. Unlike a lot of the others we've reacted to, which were just like distributed by A24 for like an American audience or whatnot, I believe this one was actually developed and made by A24. So that's a little bit of a difference right there. Um, but I am excited to see this. I'm excited to see what this is about. I can enjoy a good monster movie. It's not typically my favorite type of horror film, but I love Godzilla. So there's that. um, Especially the likes of Minus One. Although Shin Godzilla was more of like a classic horror film comparative to like other ones. But either way, I'm just excited to see what we have in store and finish off this Halloween special, hopefully on a good note. Because we've had a couple of duds here. We've had a couple that were really good. It seems like each reaction we've done for the Halloween special this year has been weaker than the last, in my opinion at least. And so we're kind of hoping that this one brings it back up. I don't know if it will, but we shall see. We shall see. But that all being said, this is also the last reaction for this week. So there's not going to be anything else today, the day you're seeing this Halloween. There's not going to be anything on Saturday or Sunday, because as of the point you're watching this, I'm actually going to be at YomaCon. I'm actually pre-recording this. I'm going to be at YomaCon in Detroit for the entire weekend. And so you can expect a cosplay music video coming probably Monday. But yeah, I'm going to be having fun doing that. I'm going to be meeting some guests. I'm going to be, running some panels and attending panels and volunteering, doing a lot of cool stuff, having fun. And so if you happen to be there, say hi. Feel free. But yeah, just letting you know. We will return next Monday, though, with our normal schedule. I know this week's been kind of wacky, been kind of like cut down and everything. We've cut a couple shows out of the rotation for this week. Next week's going to go completely back to normal. So no worries about that. Hope you've been enjoying everything as it's come out, though. Let's get to this movie, the final movie of the Halloween special, and hopefully enjoy it. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, the director and writer of this, Brian Bertino, is also the same guy behind The Stranger. So that's a fun little fact for you there. But I looked up the cast, and there was not really anything I recognized any of them from. But the guy who played Jesse apparently had a bunch of small roles in things I've seen. Nothing I would recognize him from. Like, he was in X2, for example. But again, small roles, no, like not major characters. Apparently, he was in Stargate or something as well, which I've never got into. My dad is into those, but either way, this movie was fantastic. And if I seemed like at the end there, I was like really upset. It's like I was, but I was upset because the mom died. I was upset because the mom died and sacrificed herself. And when I looked things up and everything, it said like she did so because she noticed like when she was like, you know, puking out the blood and stuff, she was internally bleeding. And that's why she said, oh, I'm going to die anyway, whether I go out there or not. So it's like, maybe that would have been the case. It's very possible. But at the same time, it's like she didn't even try and she just chose to sacrifice herself anyway. Which, it's like, you could have done something else. You could have possibly made it to safety. Like, you assumed so much, if we're being completely honest. You didn't know. You didn't have to die. And mind you, like I said in the reaction, her jumping to this instead of trying to do a smarter plan, like them walking together while holding the fire, maybe even one in front, one behind, that would have been like smarter and would have definitely got them to safety. But at the same time, it's like, again, she wasn't going to be thinking about necessarily that. She was going to like go with whatever first came to her mind. And her priority was protecting her daughter. Because despite everything, despite the abuse, despite the neglect, despite all of the mistreatment and everything, or lack of treatment in some cases, she like dearly loved her daughter. And of course, her daughter loved her. But it's just one of those cases where this movie is definitely sending a message about parents who are like this, because in real life, parents can lose themselves to drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and they either can lose complete custody of their child or can even end up dying, causing the child to become an orphan through that. And a lot of times it's like they feel like a monster. And I brought this idea up at the beginning of the film of like a monster in a lot of movies being used as a metaphor, even if just like visually, to represent an abusive parent and whatnot. And that's clearly the case here. Though the monster was real, though like there was an actual physical monster, it was also used to be a metaphor. It was both in this case. And in the end, both monsters needed to die, is the idea behind it. The literal physical monster that was assailing them and the monster that her mother had become. She knew that she had fucked up this entire time, her child's entire life. She knew she was a bad mother, and she chose to sacrifice herself specifically to let her child escape. Which, mind you, this girl has the survival instincts of a peanut and decided to go after the monster instead. She somehow succeeded, but yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, by the way, while I didn't know any of the cast members shown, the voice, the narration voice of the adult version of the girl, was Keira Knightley. I know her, so I just wanted to specify that before we continued, because I do know who Keira Knightley is. But she wasn't shown; it was just her voice. She was like the adult version of this girl. So, the monster design and just the setup of everything, the location, everything made this super effective as a horror film as well. Like I said, like I was like genuinely freaking out. Like almost every jump scare got me. Like genuinely scared the shit out of me. As did when the toy went off in the car. Like that even scared me. And I just I was super invested. Flashing back all the time to these different moments between the mother and daughter. With the narration as well, it kind of feels like this is almost like the daughter retelling the story. And like the flashbacks are her remembering to the times that connect to each moment, or that like that each moment from what happened on the road made her think of and all. It's a really cool style that like again makes both the emotion and the nuance and depth of this mother and daughter's relationship, as well as the fear and terror of this monster, more effective. The monster design was good. It was very simple and it didn't need to be anything more. It was just this mass, this black shape with these like cloudy white eyes and giant ass fangs. It didn't need to be anything more. It didn't need to have any more detail. It was perfect. It's like that's all it needs to be, because the entire thing is the monster is in the dark. It's all about, the monster hunting them in the darkness. Um, and so having the monster itself represent that by being this black shape, this dark shape, is perfect. It's excellent design. The suit, the monster suit as well, looked really good. Um, and mind you, I don't know how it would look in the daytime. I don't know how it would look in the light, but it's made to look really good in the dark, and I think they succeeded. I said it during the reaction. Although I don't know these actors, they did a phenomenal job. Like they were so good. This girl who's like now in her 20s, because this came out in 2016, which was almost a decade ago. Jesus. This girl's now an adult, and it's like again, I haven't really heard of anything else she's been in, but she was such a good actress. I'm really surprised she hasn't like gotten a lot bigger. And thankfully, it's not just me that loves this movie, by the way. It did really well. It wasn't like the best received movie or anything, but it did really well. And I'm glad for that. I'm glad that people like genuinely really like this film, because I'm not in the minority on this one, like with something like Opus. I really loved this movie. It was so effective in every way, in the emotional beats, in the fear beats. It was so good. And it just kept me super invested. Like this is like top tier horror for me. Something that like has a message to tell and tells it extremely well, but also is just scary, cuz as I said in the reaction, I don't find a lot of horror movies that actually scare me. Like maybe one or two parts in them might, but and you might even find a movie that like unnerves me because it's like ew because of stuff happening, like anything involving the eyes or fingernails being peeled. It's like that's not really a scary thing as much as it is just uncomfortable. It's gross. It's upsetting. But I wouldn't call it scary in that kind of way. And I just don't find a lot of horror films that actually like genuinely scare me, and this one did. And so I got to give massive kudos for that. It also had a very small cast because it was like the mother, her daughter, the boyfriend, the tow truck guy, and the ambulance workers, and that's it. It was a very small cast, and Keira Knightley as the voice. And again, it's kind of all it needed to be. Like, you see a lot of movies, especially these days, with massive star-studded casts, and there's a lot of movies that that's great with. But some movies really work on having a very small set of characters in it. And I don't know like what the budget was for this. I kind of want to check. Let me see if yep, I still have it up. It says the budget was 3 million and it made 74.7 in the box office. 74.7 thousand. So I guess it lost money, technically speaking. But I think 3 million is a fairly low uh budget nowadays. Like that feels like that's low budget compared to a lot of movies nowadays. So, and that makes sense because there wasn't much to this. I feel like most of the budget would go to paying the crew and the cast, and then of course the monster and the effects that go along with that. Because there's not a lot of other actors to pay. There's not a lot of big set pieces to work with. It's very simple. And so you can definitely see why it would be smaller budget. But smaller budget doesn't mean bad, and this proves that. Um, this was just really, really good. And honestly, a fantastic way to end off the Halloween special this year. Um, which is good because, like I had been saying, each one of these movies had kind of, in my opinion, been worse than the last. And not that they were really bad, but they just weren't as good as the one previously. Like I started off with Opus, which I was thinking was the best one, and then we went to Saint Maud, which I think was like you could say maybe was better made, but I preferred Opus, just personally. And then you had The Green Knight, which I was just kind of I liked, but I wasn't blown away by. It had some issues in my opinion, and it wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. And then we had The Hole in the Ground, which I just was kind of bored by. I just was not impressed by The Hole in the Ground, which sucks because I do like the mythology and stories surrounding the changelings, but yeah, I couldn't get into it. So I'm glad that we raised this back up because I think this is the best movie we reacted to for this Halloween special. This was like again, not only so effective in the scares, but it was so just emotionally resonant. It got me tearing up at one point. And then you have like just the setting and the acting talent, and it's just everything was so good. So this really impressed me. Now, to close this off, I will say at the beginning of November, we will be announcing the holiday special for December because we announced these, a month ahead. We announced the October one at the beginning of September. Um, it'll probably be the beginning, like early beginning of next week that I announce that. Because I know like November starts this weekend, but I'm going to be away. I'm going to be at this convention I'm going to, so I'm not going to be able to really work on that unless I do that beforehand. Unless I do like edit that and all beforehand. I'm going to have to put that up later. If I can edit it beforehand, I'll set it like scheduled to go up during the weekend. But we'll see. If it's not up by this weekend, expect it like maybe Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. That's what I would say for that. But yeah, it's the holiday special is not going to have as many movie reactions as the Halloween special, just because we take a break during the last week of December, and we cut things off before Christmas as well. So we'll see. I have my plan already set. I already know what I'm going to react to, but just giving you a heads up. So that being said, hope you enjoyed the Halloween special this year in general. I'm very happy to have found some movies I really liked in it. Most of the movies in this I really liked. So, and yeah, I just had a lot of fun. So thank you as always so much for tuning in. If you have any thoughts or just want to let me know what you thought of the monster down in the comments below, please do. I would love to hear your opinion. For now, though, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.